It's the Do Not Scratch Your Eyes post-match phone-in on X or Twitter or whatever it's called these days.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Holy hell, that game was shite, wasn't it? Sorry, I had to really think about how am I going to start this? I mean, let's be honest, the only silver lining was worn on the shirts that are sold seeming in their hundreds and thousands. Elton's big day, and the team have singularly failed to turn up almost all over the park. I think, we've already heard, anybody who's looked on social media will already hear the use of the word, well, it's the international break. But as other people better than I have pointed out the fact, you know what? Everybody gets the international break. This one, I'm sorry, this one comes down to the technical team, putting the team together, and the players themselves. I'm sorry, that's where this particular performance sits in my book. Be interesting to know what you think, guys. As ever, hit request if you would like to come on and have your say, because it was a great day, absolutely ruined. Lovely, delightful time before the game, and then the game kicked off. That was how today felt, particularly. Yes, I'm wearing blue, if not the blue shirt, but what the hell, try and get in the theme of it all. But just crikey, all over the park, we were less than the sum of our parts. I'm not saying Blackburn were great, but I think they thoroughly warranted it in terms of an away performance where they negated our biggest strength, which was probably Quadro Bar in the first half. Got in behind him, doubled up on him, and we kept giving him the ball rather than playing the ball in behind for him to run onto. We kept giving him the ball individually and asking him to turn and beat people. And yeah, he can beat players, but he's normally beating players when he's already on the move, rather than getting the ball, stopping, turning. Anyway, it's one of those tonight, isn't it? It's going to be one of those. Obviously, the 50 years of Elton need celebrating more than anything else at all. But as somebody pointed out earlier on to me, perhaps Elton's turning to Scott Duxbury and going, you know what? I think I remember now why we changed from blue, because we'd had no success. But it's not the colour. It's not the colour of that. It's about the size of the man in the fight, surely. It's about the individual players who were there. I mean, we can go through. Let's have a look, though, at the whatever might be the silver lining. Iran Kunda came on and tried to give us something, tried to give us a spark. Obviously, he had that free kick, which went, nothing quite happened. I thought young Kiermgaard won a lot of bits and bobs, but there was nobody really in close proximity to him for me. I've already mentioned sort of Bar there. In the middle, we were overrun because we had basically Hector Cipriano, who was vacating the area a lot, and Musa Sissoko, who had possibly the worst second half I can remember, seeing him play, which, let's be honest, that's up against some fine runners, that particular achievement. And we just seem to not have a rhythm to try to get into, to try to do something. We just never felt like we were going to be threatening anything or anybody, which was disappointing to say the least. Right, as ever, guys, press request if you would like to come on and have your say. Before the game, I did catch up with Rich WFC2, who's been away for a couple of games and didn't get to see the Southampton game, which was a great and enjoyable game. It was as good and enjoyable as this was turgid for me. But Rich, let me not steal your thunder, sir. What were your thoughts on the whole of the day and then the game specifically?
The day. I ain't got a lot to say about the day, Pete. Basically, I turn up at Vicarage Road today and I see a team in yellow. I see a team in yellow organised. I see a team in yellow who were fluent, who were playing for each other, who were running their nuts off.
Yeah.
They were creating chances, could have had 2 or 3 goals in the first half alone. They had just guts. They had organisation. And sadly, my team were in blue today. And that, for me, sums it up. Totally and utterly unacceptable. There was not one person in a Watford shirt that could look themselves in the mirror and say, I had a half-decent game today. The key players like Bar were just completely sorted by Ishmael.
Yeah.
He had a game plan. Todd Cantwell was a masterclass in how to run a midfield.
Absolutely.
I mean, in the 95th minute, he's still running halfway around the pitch to challenge Watford players today. They had energy. They had high press. Everything that we were told Pezzolino was bringing to Watford. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Pezzolino, that's 1 win in 5 games after having a complete and utter pre-season to organise a football team. And if that is the best you got, with our chairman, with our owner even, I don't see you lasting too long. That was just, you can't do that at home. This is a so-called big game. You've got the ex-chairman there, you know, a legend guy that sat through that, and he must have turned to Scott Duxbury and said, don't bother inviting me next time. It was turgid. It was boring. Everything I said just under 2 seasons ago, a season ago, that Ishmael dished out. But that was a masterclass in how to play away football. We did not have a clue. The team sheet at the beginning was a mess. Anybody that saw that team sheet is thinking, what is that all about? And it was a mess. And it was a mess the way he's basically trying to make players overthink things. There was no naturalness about anything of that performance today. It was a complete mess. You've got Iran Kunda, who's in the form of his life. If that lad is fit enough to sit on the bench, what the hell is he sitting on the bench for? Get him on the pitch from the beginning. I don't buy this sitting on an aeroplane. They don't exactly sit in economy with their legs up against the chair, and he's a small lad anyway. He'd have had a nice sleep on the plane. He'd have been, you know, for goodness sake.
I think we should do this. Basically, they get to play depending on the amount of leg room that they've had. And yes, face it, you could stick him in economy and he'd still be kicking his legs up. And yet he came on when he does come on, and he wins more headers than anybody his size and stature deserves to do. He's a joy. I agree. Not having him.
He's a joy, and that's exactly my point, Pete. What is he doing sitting on the bench in the form that he is? I mean, all right, he had a free kick today, and again, this is, I don't know how many people spotted it, but the Blackburn people had done their homework on his free kicks. Their wall was about 15 yards. The referee put his shaving foam along the ground, but their wall was a good 5 yards back from it, so they could jump, because the way he hits the ball across, when you hit across the ball, it's rising at about 15 metres, and they were there to head it away. So they do. So his free kicks are being seen and being worked on, and full credit to it, Blackburn again. Both Ishmael and Dean Whitehead, I think it is, ironically, the name of the referee today as well. They know what they were doing, you know, and we were clueless. Pezzolino did not have a clue. And this is the trouble. We've got a manager that maybe doesn't speak the lingo. In fact, we know he doesn't speak the lingo. That doesn't particularly concern me majorly, as long as he's getting his message across on the field. He's not getting his message across. We were a mess when people didn't know what to do. We were actually stationary for so much of that first half. That first half was as bad as I can remember for years. Everybody was standing still and saying, who's going to move? Who's going to do something? And Blackburn just stood there and said, come on. And then they broke away. They've hit the bar. They've had a couple cleared pretty much from the 6-yard box off, you know, could have been a foot into the goal. There was just nothing there for Watford to grab hold of. It was turgid. It was boring. And I'm sorry, you can't do that at home. You've got to pick up points, and that's 1 win in 5. And you've got to be better than that 5 games in. You know, 10 games is always the benchmark for me. But I do look for something, and I look for a performance. I went to Charlton away on the first game, and I thought that was okay, but it wasn't great. So I was expecting to see a lot better live today. I've watched the other games on the telly, and that, you know, that gives you a certain perspective. But there's nothing like being there at the game and seeing, you know, the off-ball running and all that sort of stuff that television cameras don't pick up. Today, I watched it with my own eyes, and what I saw was a masterclass from a lad in, you know, Todd Cantwell, who just destroyed our midfield. I agree with you wholeheartedly with Sissoko. If Sissoko plays, and I hope he doesn't, but if he plays, he has to play down the right side and keep away from the middle. I said it before the game. The minute I saw him there, I thought, oh my God, he just doesn't have the legs anymore. And, you know, I mean, Kayembe, at least give him a bit of credit when he came and looked to try and do something, but he's then taking Vata off. 55 minutes, Vata, at least he looked a little bit lively and was getting some balls in the box. He wasn't brilliant, don't get me wrong. As I said, there's barely a player that can look in the mirror today and say I had a good 7, 8 out of 10 performance. They didn't. They were only 5 and 6s. I mean, you know, Caden looked terrible at that point. You know, he's got to play in the middle. Pollock didn't do much wrong, but I don't like Pollock. He's just not. He's just the old-fashioned oof-it centre forward. He's not got no guile about him. I just wanted to see, a Banquo and Caden and Mende together. Just get them in the team. But thank God we got Loser coming back. But we're going away to Millwall. I think it is next Monday.
It is.
Is it now?
Yes, it is. Yep.
You don't get much down there. Another defeat down there. Wow, the pressure's going to be on because. I'm sorry, I don't mind seeing my team compete and lose a game, but we were never at the races, and that was the most comfortable away performance and victory for Blackburn, the Villa Moon, and it's a bad day. And it's my bloody birthday tomorrow, and I'm not happy.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, I mean, I can't disagree with you. Some comments in from YouTube. Paradise. Thank you, Paradise. Anybody on YouTube wants to leave us some messages, we will let everybody on Twitter know, and vice versa, obviously. But Paradise said, Bar, although a threat, is a very one-dimensional threat. He needs to work in conjunction with other runners. He's currently, like the talented kid at school, left to be the only threat. And I think we only saw that sort of lifted slightly when Iran Kunda came on, and then they were sort of combining a little bit together. It was so single-threaded, and it was simply trying to give it to the kid who's pretty good at school, wasn't it?
I mean, yeah, but as you said, they doubled up and they actually tripled up on him quite a lot of the time, and that. Then you've got to be clever. So if he's got 3 men on him, where's the space?
Where do you move the ball?
With Bar, is it? So you don't move the ball. We don't move the ball. This is the trouble. Everything was static. You watch again. I'm sorry if I'm labouring the point, but Cantwell, he's spraying the ball all over the place today. He's running. He's making tackles. He's getting stuck in. He's winning headers, but he's spraying the ball to wing. We just had nobody like that at all that could get involved and do anything, and it was just terrible. It was a dreadful performance, and I'm really disappointed. I'm sorry it's my first time on here this season, and I wanted to come on in a much more positive vein and say, I saw us at Charlton, and I'm seeing what's happening, and I can see the plan. I can't see the plan. I can't see what the idea is, and I'm looking at a lot of Watford players today in blue shirts that really didn't know what their role was, what they were meant to be doing, and they certainly weren't playing as a team and running an effort like Blackburn did. And sorry, I'll let someone else have a chat. Good to speak to you. Good to be back. And Rich can only get better.
Lovely to speak to you, and always gets us off to a flying start. Do you agree? Do you disagree with Rich? Do you want to any other comment that you want to make around Watford? The idea is, look, differing opinions come in. It's a melting pot. Some will agree with, some we won't. Some we will like, and some we won't. That's just the nature of football and supporting. Let's get across to somebody I saw earlier on, Mr. Greg Thieker, who was resplendent in blue. Probably is still blue for differing reasons. Greg, how has your day been?
Another weekend ruined, Peter.
Another weekend ruined. Oh, come now! You have a very fetching new blue suit, blue shirt with a nice blue box now, because that's the kind of thing that we get. Yes.
No, I'm certainly in the somber hour at the moment. I thought first half we were totally outnumbered in midfield.
Yep.
I think he tried to play Vata in that sort of Chak role. That's the carrier. I'm sorry, I don't think Dumby is a wide player. He's a centre forward. They just looked a mess. I had sympathy for Sissoko in the first half because he was outnumbered. But then they brought KMB on, and he was even worse. He's like a bumper car, isn't he? In that midfield, he just keeps running into just not good. Not good.
I thought you meant he needs an electric current running through him. I mean, there are arguments to say that, but obviously I wouldn't be one to add to it. It was odd. I mean, for me, Doumbia was playing more in the central position. It was almost, we were as close to 4-4-2 as we've played this season in terms of it, but he did have license to drift, as those players in that second row of attack do. But just nothing came off for him. There were a couple of nice individual little bits, and then he'd hold the ball, and then the pass would be lazy, or something would come off. Everything broke down,
or it was rebound off his back heel. And it's just not good. Not good today. Look, it's a long season.
Mm-hmm.
We've got We missed Loser today.
There is the silver lining, really, isn't it? That we're going to go to
that midfield,
bring him back in.
Loser in that midfield, Peter.
Yep.
And that might be a different game of football. That might be a different game. We've got Czech to come back, but don't let me go there because I'll just get into trouble. And yeah, don't let me go there. I missed their goal, to be honest. You know what happened? I missed their goal because I was too busy looking at Elton John, if I'm honest with you.
Well, it was odd there. It was kept in near the corner flag, and we sort of ponced about with it a bit, to be quite frank, and tried to clear it up. And the ball came back in, and it was piss poor. And Morishita kind of managed to get in behind and just finished it quite calmly. Very well indeed. You know, in fairness, you know, from their side, as Rich has said already, from an away point of view, and bearing in mind they were 19th in the table before this game, and when we spoke to Ian Herbert from 4,000 Holes Blackburn, or Lancashire, I should say, you know, he said, no, we know that we're ferreting around the bins of kind of Northwestern academies.
I listened to it, Pete. Yeah.
And for all of that, he did then go and predict a 1-0 win, because that's what Blackburn do when they come here. That they have that in their locker, seemingly. Yeah. Very frustrating. Very frustrating.
You know, I had them down pre-season as what one for the drop with Sheffield Wednesday and one other. But you know, Ishmael's got them organised, doesn't he? He has got them organised. Well, we did not look organised today. We're trying to put square pegs in round holes. What did you think of the right back?
The first half, I thought, okay, he was all right. I thought second half there was a bit of kind of positional jiggery pokery going on, and I didn't quite think he knew where he was supposed to be going on occasions. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, for a first appearance at right back, it didn't match Paredes, if we remember him. But Paredes was very much a false dawn, if we all recall. So you know, you have to hope that, okay, he's come in, he's done all right. I don't think it was you know, pulling up any trees or any kind, but it was all right. But it's very hard to have a good showing at right back in a performance where the team are misfiring all over the place and giving the ball away far too cheaply. You know, I mean, we absolutely, Rich is right. Credit to Todd Cantwell. I don't like him. Not many non-Blackburn supporters will like him, because, you know, I think I call him flouncy, because, you know, he's got the most punchable face in the championship. But when he's allowed, he's a good footballer. But we let him have the run of the park.
Peter, he's a good pickup from them. He's gone to Rangers and failed. They've picked him up for a very lowish fee. You know, certainly at a level that we could have been competing at. And he's had a really good game of football today. A really good game of football. I thought Cipriano looks absolute class, particularly in the first half. Maybe drifted a bit second half, but he's a good player.
It's the drifting word, I think, is absolutely spot on with him, because I agree. I like him a lot. I think he's an absolute class operator. And I levelled this at Sissoko, especially at Cardiff away last season. There were times when there was literally just Sissoko in the middle, because he would drift and go into other areas, and I just don't think we could afford that today. So I think, you know, it's great being class on the ball and doing something, but when we didn't have the ball on occasions, I thought he had a wrong starting position. But that's not a criticism of the lad. You know, he's tremendous, and also he probably must have been turning up today going, my God, this is like being back at Peterborough again. I've been waiting for 3 years to get out of a blue shirt, and now he's back in one again. But no, I mean, fair play to Blackburn. I thought they worked hard. When they came out, I thought, right, we've got a height advantage here. We've got a physical advantage. And I don't think we did anything to utilise it at all. I thought Kieran Gard, despite having lots of people up here, there was sort of, we didn't manage to link play in the same way that you get with Iran Kunda when he plays through that middle in the 3-5-2, because we didn't play that. We played the 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-2, depending on how you want to call it. They did really well up against Bar. I thought Vata had a bit of an iffy game. And the one time when I thought in the first half, in that first 10 minutes, where we started with a lot of energy, and you had Max Elaine made an overlapping run, and it was give it to him, give it to him, give it to him. And he didn't. And then he did. And then Max Elaine was like, right, yeah, I forgot I haven't got a left foot, which is why probably Max Elaine doesn't appear often as a left back. Then in that second half, a lot of the ball forward, and this is where I think about Loser coming in next week. Do you remember the game? It was the first time I think we might have seen Duomo start, was away at Burnley, and we couldn't find the ball from the midfield up to the forwards, and the reason was because Loser was on a suspension, or he was injured, or whatever it was, and as well as we tried to play there, we couldn't get the ball forward with any quality. Some quality moving forward and being able to pick us out today, that might see us change gear next week. But this feels like the Charlton game, and the Charlton game was, oh my God, what are we doing from here? A little bit. We don't know what we're going to get. The one thing he needs to do is try to bring in, consistency, and it's hard when he's still toying seemingly with the formations and with the tactics, because it didn't really work today, and we didn't really make a change of shape, which he's done previously when we've been behind.
You're right, Pete. It didn't work, and we all looked at the team sheet and we thought, what's that going to be? Bar for me still is better as an impact player off the bench. I guess he won't want a career as an impact player, but that's where he's performed best for us, coming off the bench. Peter, we don't play till next Monday.
Nope.
We could be very, very lowly.
Oh, we lost you there, Greg. Greg, you're on mute for some reason. But the big Lebowski's come in, so we'll catch you in a bit.
I should be back.
Oh, there you are. He's back. Brett, stay there for us. We'll come back to you. So yeah, Greg, your point is that we could be quite low down, couldn't we?
We could be. We could be very low come Monday. But it's a long season. I'll give him a bit longer. Whether Gino will, that's another matter.
That's always the thing.
I'm going to go now. 1 point for you, Peter.
Yeah.
And now I have a proper U on my left arm.
Oh, look at this. I saw this man resplendent wearing the blue shirt, but on where the University of Hertfordshire is on the left, the U and the H, and also the U of University, both were a little bit. I take it you got some good customer care at the Hornet shop.
Oh, first class. Luckily, I walked in, I still had the tag on it. And I said, look, I might set the tag off. And I know that the retail manager, he's a good guy, and he sorted it out for me. I was in and out within minutes. So got Mrs. W in the car. We're going to go and pick up a takeaway now.
Right. I'm guessing Chinese.
Nope.
Does that mean I have to ask this, Mrs. Wendover? Mr. Wendover looks resplendent. Does this mean that the moratorium on good food is now over and he can actually eat like a human?
Oh no.
He can't, but I'm still eating well.
No, what we're doing at the moment is, rather than having one dish each, we're getting one dish and sharing it.
Oh, it's portion sized. You see, that's so clever.
Portion control, Peter.
Well,
that's it.
Well, don't worry. Whilst you two do that, I'm going to do the opposite for the economy and order 2 just for me. That's fine. Right, guys, enjoy the A41 and your blue shirt and all of that. Lovely stuff. Right, Brett, let's get you back in. Brett, are you with us, sir?
Do you remember I had breaking news for you?
Now, I need to explain this to everybody. Here is Blue Cheese Brett, drummer extraordinaire, the now manager of Backgammon FC, and he told me earlier on that he had news and that he would reveal it on the Spaces. Prepare yourself, everybody, for underwhelmed disappointment. That's certainly what I'm looking forward to.
It's exactly that. It's
okay.
I was going balls out that we're getting promoted this season.
Oh,
and then we were going to batter Blackburn.
Okay, that was your prediction.
That was my breaking news. It wasn't like, obviously I don't work for Sky. I haven't actually got any breaking news. It was just my opinions, breaking news. But I thought it was quite brave to say that.
Well,
especially after today.
Some people will say brave. Some people will say foolhardy. People will just go, well, it's Brett. What on the earth are you expecting? Oh, there you go. Okay, well, enough of that. What did you make of the day? Because there's the whole day to discuss. Obviously, the match is the focus of it, but we saw you beforehand, and everybody was having a lot of fun in the family zone. But then the game kicked off. So tell me about your whole stuff.
Exactly. Let's deal with the game first. I'll come back to the great bit at the beginning. So, look, I saw it a bit differently for Rich and Wendover. The first 15 minutes, we showed our capability. We were popping it around. We were first to all the 50-50s.
Right.
And I was like, front foot. And there were a number of chances where people were just shooting. And then I thought, oh, it's the Graham Taylor, like, just shoot on goal and, 20 shots, you'll get a couple of goals. But obviously, after that first 15 minutes, they were shithousing. Every time they fell over, the ref called a free kick. And actually, he did that for us as well, but we didn't do it as many times as them. And they were slowing the game down constantly from 17, 18 minutes. That was their game, frustrate us. And if we had carried on playing, we showed. The thing is, we did show capability. There was brilliant one-touch passing going on, front foot football, and creating in that first 15. And I thought, that's our capability. We're moving house next week, and we're just clearing stuff out the loft. I found a school report of mine. Said it was second year at school at Watford Grammar, and it said, Brett is not firing on all four cylinders. I fear that he is capable of a lot more.
I think.
And I'm seeing them, and I'm thinking, if that first 15 minutes, we're outplaying them. We're showing that we can play football. They didn't show that. For me, they frustrated the shit out of us and took advantage. Whereas when I saw us playing football, it was like, oh, we can play classy football, but obviously we're getting thrown by these stops, and we're not then restarting the game and playing like that. Did you see it those first 15 minutes? It was class.
I saw the first 15 minutes and it was okay. But what you describe Blackburn doing is what those people who are long in the tooth, jaded, cynical, shall we say, for example, would call a classic away performance. You come out, you stop the home team building up a sense of momentum. You kind of go down and you stop and you make the whole game exactly what we saw today. And in order to get over that, you've got to basically match them physically, which we failed to do. You've got to match them with their numbers. I'm just going to pop you on mute, mate, because we've got a lot of M1 going on there. Let me put him on mute. There we go. That's better. Sorry about that. All fingers and thumbs, me. You've got to match them physically. If you do not, I mean, the amount of times we've said that, talent is beaten by hard work if talent doesn't work hard. And today we were second to too much. We were second not only to the first and second ball, but we were second in terms of the strength and the kind of the strength of those challenges. And they're not a big dirty side. If they go down because we've challenged them, that's us being a mug. That's us being mugged off. The amount of times, for example, Kieran had people coming through and coming past him, and then when he would go to try to tackle back, because he would try, but he would be tackling from the wrong side, and it would be right. Okay, I'll take the free kick. And then he'd get frustrated and the crowd would get frustrated. And that's why it's an away game, because you're breaking the rhythm. You're breaking the opportunity for the opposition to really sort of build that sense of momentum and get the crowd going like the 12th man, because it didn't really happen today.
Okay, but also that again in that first 20 minutes we had that penalty shout.
Right.
There was shirt pulling. I was right in front. It's right in front of you, isn't it, as well? But
there was a yes, I did question, shall we say, the parentage of the referee.
We did have momentum. I agree with you. It's like getting used to the fact, and maybe Petzano isn't used to the champs, right? This is classic shit. Really deal with it, get up and keep that front foot pace. The other thing I thought was tactically wrong. Bar and Vatter come on late doors, play the attrition. First half, it was kind of what Clevs was doing, right? That first half attritional, like tire them out, and then come on with your big, with your flair players. And but what I didn't get, I think, the whole Iran Kunda, you need a couple of flair players on for the first half, but you can play attritional and then bring Bar and Batter on. So it was, and it did feel like, I think Rich said it did feel like a bit of a hodgepodge, but they don't, we still don't know. That lineup was different from other lineups. It's going to take time. I'm still positive, Peter. I really am. I think we've shown that we can play football, but can you play football in the champs with all the shithousery?
Fair enough. Melanie HK has said she was quite impressed with Petri, I think he was pronounced, even though he's got an S at the end. It's the French thing where they don't pronounce an S unless there's another letter after it. So Petri, what did you think of him?
I liked him. He showed like he wants to go forward. He's digging in. By the way, when we were winning those 50-50s, that 15, 20 minutes when we were really digging in, he was in that. But if we're going to talk about defence, Pollock for me, not for me, Clive. He's we've got a Banquo. He's flair. Pollock is meat and potatoes, and it shows.
There's not enough use of the word meat and potatoes, I think, in most football coverage, and I'm glad to see that we're putting that right. Well, the thing is I can't remember which game it was, but a Banquo came in and we all thought, oh, look, he looks really good. And he played on the left side under Cleverley last year and then on one occasion, he reversed them round and Pollock went on the left and we saw a Banquo go on the right. And suddenly the passing range, which Pollock does have, but he doesn't have it on the left, because he's always trying to come back in to get it onto his left to pass something, went completely. And I think we saw the same thing. Kevin was to the right of him, he was to the left. I just don't think he's got the passing range of it there. I don't think that's his. I don't think that makes him look as good as he can potentially look if he gets everything going. If that makes sense.
Maybe, but like all of those players, they have. They have massive ability that shows like skill and digging in, that he seems to be limited and maybe lacking confidence, or like it feels like if a ball's coming in and you want someone to head it away, Pollock.
Meat and potatoes, that's exactly as you said.
If you're gonna bring the ball down and do something with it, he's not the man.
Fair enough indeed. Fair enough, sir. Okay, well, look, I very much enjoyed your news, especially as you then said, and it's not news, it's just me being enthusiastic about what's going on. Now, of course, had the game gone our way, that would have looked insightful. As it does, it sort of looks a bit foolish. Good luck with the move. I want to find out more about that. Let's get across to the go transatlantic to where pretty much, let's face it, everything's happening this week. But enough of that. Let's talk about football. Let's talk to Uncle Ron, who will be, I'm imagining, probably hiding in a cupboard somewhere near Florida. Ron, are you there, sir?
I am here, yes. And the children are next door, but Puppy Dog Pals is on. So
Puppy Dog Pals
should be okay.
Is that the distraction therapy for half an hour? Do you reckon that's good for?
It is.
Excellent stuff. I'm glad to know that you've now got them at that televisual distraction age, which is a must. Oh dear, sir, it wasn't good today. Elton John, obviously, we knew of that era when he was in charge, and it wasn't that game-wise. But what are your thoughts on blue kits, nostalgia, and then the offering that we saw at Vicarage Road in blue today?
I very much like the blue kit, and I have ordered it. I think
nice.
Yes, I think it's quite interesting and rather camp, which is up my alley, so to speak.
There we go, everybody. That's rather camp, and then immediately follow with an up my alley. Well done, sir. Welcome to Carry On, Do Not Scratch Your Eyes. Brilliant.
But today was grim, and
It was.
I think the corner flag should come out. And I mean this in complete seriousness. You cannot have an owner. There cannot be any pretense to a promotion challenge, and have a defeat like this today to a very poor Blackburn side, who came into the game very low in confidence. They said they're going for it this year. That was grim. He's had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. He puts Elaine out at left back, can't play there. And they were very ill prepared. They weren't prepared. It was sort of this horrendous kind of walking football. And he's got to go. You can't pretend you want promotion and accept that. He should be fired, and he can take his Gabor Kirali tracksuit bottoms with him.
Oh my lord, he's what, sir? What was that? Now,
do you remember the old Crystal Palace?
Oh yes, no.
Gabor Kirali.
Now I'm with you.
Yes.
Oh yes. Well, I you know, somebody who I often get messages from during the game described it. Did say the manager looks like he's either going to bed or just got up. And I did look across at that point and went, yes, Gabor Kirali. Oh, well done, everybody. That's taking you back to the 90s and Crystal Palace. Oh, remember when they weren't quite as good as they are now? God, blimey. I like that. Oh, yes. So look, it's one of those things where you want to be the club where the culture of the club means that this shouldn't really be a conversation or a question, and you want to be the club who would say, no, of course we're going to be sticking by the manager because that's what we do. But you can't ignore the fact that the culture of our club is very much that whenever you see anything with a corner flag attached, you do a double take and go, oh my God, who's gone this time? So, you know, it's odd, and it feels, I don't know how much of the season you've been able to kind of keep up with thus far. We've not had a consistency yet of performance. I thought Southampton was a thoroughly enjoyable game, but it was you know, not over 90 minutes ago now, and those 90 minutes kind of start to obliterate the memory of it a little bit. It felt more like the Charlton game, which again felt rudderless. It felt featureless. It felt like there wasn't really a plan, and I think today felt a little bit like that. Do you feel we've now had those 3 games where Loser's been out, and Loser, I think, has been a force for, you know, he's really come good. Do you think, and I appreciate I'm asking you for a positive potentially here, so that's always a dangerous thing. Do you think he could be the metronome that starts making us tick again?
Perhaps, I don't know, but anyone who's starting Sissoko and wants to play him should go for me. He should not be playing. He should not be playing 90 minutes. I didn't like the vibe of this manager from the beginning, and I don't like it now. I just think he has to go tonight. The owner wants promotion, so you may say this is overreaction, but it's not. You have to judge it from what Duxbury and Pozzo said. You saw those videos, Peter, of Duxbury saying, we're really going for it this year. Well, we're 7 points off the top 2. We're 4 points off a playoff place. So this isn't going for it. And are they going to win at Millwall? I very much doubt it. I think he's got to be the corner flag tonight. Otherwise, it's all a nonsense, everything they say. They got rid of Tom Cleverley because they wanted to go for promotion, right? It's not consolidation. It's going for promotion. And this was unspeakable bilge today.
Oh, I'm sorry, everybody, but unspeakable bilge is a fine phrase, and I'm going to be using it more in conversation. I don't disagree with you. One of the things that you did say for it was there on your Twitter, and I did enjoy it very much. You turned around and you said, I haven't liked many Watford players recently, but I like Nestory Irankunda. What do you particularly like about him, and how does it feel having a Watford player who, even today, with, you know, jet lag coming back from New Zealand, I think he was landing sometime Thursday, by my understanding. He's a force for good, and he's a lot of fun, isn't he?
Yes, and he's not been overcoached. He looks like he really enjoys playing football and wants to attack. And has this enthusiasm to him that I really like. That's what I like about him so much. He's not been overcoached, and There's just something about him that I really like.
Yeah, there's that natural effervescence about him. You know, he's not a tall lad, but he manages to win with a tremendous athletic spring. He wins more than his fair share of headers. He really, really does. No, I like that. I think he's a force for good. The question comes down to, therefore, is the coach getting enough out of what we've got? And of course, without Loser, who could be the metronome to come back, we know when Scott and Gino do their wet work, and it's normally the international break, isn't it? So I doubt we'll be seeing any corners this evening or this weekend, but I think we'd be foolish to look at it and not think that there will always be a thought in there, because I heard it come straight from Gino's mouth. If I can do something to improve Watford, I will do it, and I won't hesitate to do it. And you go, okay, but I think, you know, I think most people consider that he's been backed in this particular window and at the start, and they'll want to see it play out. And we will hope that obviously Loser will come back in and do some good work for us. That would be very nice indeed. Uncle Ron, sir, thank you very much indeed. Lovely stuff. Let's get to Johnny Hornet now. Johnny is often on the train, so we'll see whether or not he goes in and out. Johnny, how you doing?
All right, Peter, can you hear me okay?
I've got you loud and clear, sir.
Yeah, I'm just at King's Cross Station waiting for a train back to Leeds. Yeah, I guess that's why they call it the Blues.
But them Tish.
Sorry, yeah, awful joke. It's a bit of a weird one because I think some of these things where we've tried to make it like a special day. I don't even remember that Southampton game a few years ago where Danny Ings scored after 1 minute.
Yeah.
And Troy got sent off where we were doing the singing at half time for the Elton John film. It kind of felt a bit like that. Like it always kind of the way that these kind of events go.
Yeah. So not playing or playing the event rather than playing the game. Yeah, getting lost in it.
Yeah, I just thought it was a really frustrating game. I think the points that you've made about sort of the momentum, like I thought, like okay, lost to Charlton the first game, weren't great, and then we kind of got the result against QPR, drawn with Southampton, and you kind of look at Blackburn and you go, it's a decent game, you know, it's a good event, and it should be pretty winnable for us.
Yep. And
then we go and lose it and turn in a performance like that, and in my head, you know, you look at Gino, he's kind of got rid of Cleverly, a guy that all the fans loves. And, you know, so you need to be aiming for a promotion, like Uncle Ron said. And tactically, I didn't see him do anything in the game to really change the momentum of that game. You know, like Barr, then Blackburn number 2 was great today. Did a right job on Barr, but he never switched any, he never changed him. Like, why didn't you put him the other side or do anything different? There was nothing in that game that I could see the manager do that I tried to change any of the momentum. It's like at half time he could have put Aaron Kunda on. You know, we waited for them to score. Everyone could feel the momentum in that game was going towards Blackburn. He did nothing. He did the square root of that ball.
Sorry, absolutely correct. I thought the number 2 for Blackburn was fantastic, and he didn't just defend well against him when he was up against him. He also pushed him back. I mean, he was the one springing forward as well. I thought he was, you know, because obviously I'm going to say Cantwell because everybody looks at him, and as I say, but that lad was he was very, very useful, and they were quite tidy. I thought. I didn't think they were anything like as bad as Ian, who came up on our opposition view, suggested they might be. Damn you, Ian.
They've lost a few players as well. I think they lost a player to Wrexham and
shed loads. They've lost. Danny
so you look at them and you kind of think, well, they're there for the taking. But I just think we've underestimated them. We've put in a weird formation, and you know, and it's got to be questions there. You kind of think, well, the manager might go, okay, I screwed that up in the first half. Let's just tweak it a bit and do something a bit different. But I don't see it as any different. You know, it's probably a lot worse than you know, probably last season, really, isn't it? You know,
at the moment, and Ron's right. We need to find that rhythm in order to make sure that we are within a position that Gino will be content to keep pushing on. You know, with not making the change. And at the moment, that's not where we are at the moment. We will all want to give anybody some time, whether or not we've warmed to him or not as yet. But you know, we know the owner is loath to do so. What do you think of the of the blue shirt today? It felt slightly surreal, and sometimes I found myself almost going, "Brilliant, we've won the ball." Oh no, that's Blackburn. How did you feel with it all today?
I suppose there's one positive that was that Team in Yellow won at Vicarage Road, but yeah,
We'll manage it one way or another.
Yeah, but I felt I like the new shirt. I was going to go and buy it, but I don't know, 76 quid does sound a bit steep, so I'll probably wait till after Christmas and get it then, hopefully a bit cheaper. But so it was quite nice, and everyone was up for it at the game. Everyone had their blue shirts on. You know, you could tell it was a kind of a special occasion. And again, we just didn't turn up for one of these sorts of events, which I'm just got gobsmacked by, really. And also, I was chatting to a guy on the train from Watford Junction to Houston, and I said, like, you know, who did you think played well today? And he was like, you know, and I was the same, really. I couldn't really think of anyone who really put in a decent performance, apart from Cipriano, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of was really looking forward to today, and I'm now, you know, I'm going to be going back on the train to Leeds, just thinking, you know, what's going to happen to this season. I know it's only a few games in. Sorry, the other thing I was just going to say was the body language of the players. Then you notice there was a lot of arms going up and frustration, and it was a bit like, come on, you know, we just need to crack on and, you know, try and get back in the game. And I think you made the point where we were giving away, you know, we were giving stupid fouls away, which are then allowing Blackburn just to time waste even more. Every throw in was like 30 seconds or 45 seconds. I mean, to be fair to the ref, he did give 6 minutes at the end. I thought he was going to give like 3 minutes, but he gave a decent amount of time. But we just fell into their trap every time with that. The only other thing I just thought was a bit strange about the ref was the why was Pollock given a yellow card in the second half, exactly the same foul that Cantwell did in the first half, but Cantwell wasn't given a yellow card? I don't know if you noticed that.
I didn't put the two together, but yeah, I mean, it's
for the pullback, because then I think Cantwell would have been on. I think it was Cantwell would have been on a yellow card for the rest of the game. I don't think that changed the result of the game, but I just felt that was a bit inconsistent from the referee.
No, very good, very good. Well, we'll see how we go. I think where we go from here has to include Imran Loser is back in tow. We all thought that we would lose Shaq Fatadza. Now, injury has probably meant that hasn't happened, and you would have thought we'd have lost maybe Loser. There was definitely an offer made and rejected. There was an offer made, I know, for Barr in the last week, and he didn't go. So, you know, that I'm very pleased that the club have gone, no, we'll stick with what we've got. Genuinely, that's good, and we'll see where we go. But you know, yeah, Imran Loser will take us forward, moving. We're just going to come to Ollie and then to Adam in a moment. Just before I do, let me just press a couple of buttons here, there, and everywhere. No, we're not going to go to 5-word reviews, Pete. Let's just go to something else. I wanted to just mention on the comments was John Myers watching us from on YouTube. Said thank you, Pete, for all the coverage on Watford women's team. I enjoy the DNSYE episodes pitch side. Cheers to you all the way from the US. I love the fact that we've got a really sort of international sort of involvement with the club, because these days, you know, if you're going to use technology for anything, use it to shrink the world occasionally and keep everybody involved and keep the community together, which is lovely. Today, the family zone outside the back of the Rookery really seemed to get going, and I think there's already talk about some kind of upgrades on that, because it looks like it's being really, really successful. So obviously those parts of the community you can't come to. I love to think of this as the online fan zone, if you want, for a better way, just to say, look, wherever you are, whatever your thoughts are, come here and enjoy it. And John mentioned also, he said, uncertain if starting Doumbia was wise. And what happened to Boller at left back? Yeah, well, you've got Boller. Obviously, you've also got young Caleb Wiley, who's been trying to get some some fitness and what have you. So yeah, I mean, suddenly seeing somebody come in and step into your place. Don't know whether obviously there may have been an injury picked up or something along those lines, but it did feel like it wasn't a complete failure in any way, shape, or form. I thought he tried well, and I thought his passes out, whilst a little bit off, were our only outlet in that second half. But interesting to see. But thank you very much, John. Much appreciated. Let's get Ollie on. We haven't spoken to Ollie this season, I don't think. Ollie, how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good. First question: do you now have a blue shirt?
No, but my dad does.
Oh, well done, Dad. Well done. Excellent stuff.
I mean, I asked him if I could get it today, but we found a compromise of getting a cookie instead for the game. So
Oh, I think we're all sitting there going, "That's parenting done right. Well done, Ollie's dad." Right? Okay. Well, yeah. Keep haranguing him for it, because obviously we're not here to make friends with your dad. We're here to chat with you. Come on, mate. What did you think of all things? What do you think of the kit, and what did you think of the season so far and everything else?
I think so far this season we've been okay. That was definitely the worst game we've seen, I reckon. I thought didn't make the subs that we needed, especially bringing Kembe on for Vata. I think Vata was, I would say, the heartbeat of the game, to be honest. He was controlling the midfield quite well, I thought. Looked promising as well. Shamir Rankunda wasn't fully fit, I think. He did well for Australia, though, which is, he's looking very bright, which is good. Yeah. And when he came on, he looked like usually he makes a bigger difference, but he made a tad bit of difference. Apart from that, I don't think there's much praise to go out to most of the players today. I think I didn't know what I found of is he Petrus? Yep. I think the new right back, I believe.
Yep.
Didn't know what to think of him. Obviously, it's his first game, so won't judge a book by its cover. But it wasn't the best start for him. I just think we're a bit all over the place today, especially defensively, and I think we've missed loser, I would say.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think that metronome in the middle, that's somebody who'll go and be available and get the ball and pass it forward with some quality, because we weren't able to find the ball forward with as much quality as we would expect from loser. And why I say about young Max Elaine down the left actually giving us something out, even though it wasn't quite the same quality. We didn't really get the ball forward from Petri or Petrus. We haven't worked out which one he is. Petri Dish. I quite like Petri. I think we should call him that. He didn't really give us the ball going forward as much as we might like to have. Iran Kunda, of course, is fit, but when Ollie references there, because he's been playing over in Australia. Well, no, he's been playing in New Zealand, even further away, for Australia, and has done very well. But he arrived back late. I think it was Thursday, so I imagine he was just kind of, we'll bring you on off the bench and see how you go. I thought he gave us something, but when he's fit and when he's kind of fresh, and which you hope obviously he will be at Millwall, we hope we're going to see his devastating best back again, and then more competition for places. And of course, if we can get Chak Fatadza fit, which is still, he's 2 weeks off of the end of his 6-week kind of period, and then he's really got to try to get himself properly fit, but you can do all the conditioning that you want in the gym, and me saying that, crikey, how bad do I sound? But it's match readiness that he needs. What have you thought of the forwards so far? What have you thought of Kieran Gard, and especially?
Well, Kieran Gard, I think he's definitely an upgrade from Bio. Uh-huh. I feel like he's very strong. Didn't see as much as him today as we may have liked to see. But he does look very promising, seeing as I believe is it 21? I think he's quite young. Yeah. He looks very promising. I mean, feel like couldn't have done much today, especially for the striker. You can't get involved in the game unless you have the midfield helping you and you're getting the ball. Recent games, he's been very, very good, I would say. Not actually very, 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 very good is an extent, to be fair. I would say definitely an upgrade from Bio. I'd say he's similar to Rivich, just a little bit more, gets the ball a bit more and is quicker, I think I would say.
Good. He had that one in the first half, didn't he? In the second half, which flashed across from the left, and he got it with his left foot, and it just kind of, yes, it went up and wide, but it was a flash point. It's one of those kind of positions, though, isn't it? I suppose where if that goes in, everybody's purring about his all-round performance because he worked hard, but he just needs to get another kind of couple of goals like he did against QPR, and then other things will click. Does he look better when Iran Kunda is up and alongside him? Because I'm trying to think of the games when he hasn't had that, which would be Charlton today. That would be it, really, wouldn't it? I mean, two performances where we've kind of failed to to really work the keeper very much. Do we think they're probably the best starting pair? And would you go in the 3-5-2, or would you stick with this sort of 4-2-3-1 sort of thing that we've got going on at the minute?
I feel like the 3-5-2 is found it quite effective. And I think that it's definitely the better starting two, seeing as Doumbia looks a little bit lost at the moment, and Semedo doesn't seem well. Obviously, he's very young, so he's definitely got room for improvement. I would say the same for all the strikers, all three that we have. But yeah, I feel like at the moment stick to the 3-5-2 because it seemed very effective. I believe we played that against Southampton. I can't remember though.
First half we did, and then we kind of changed it to that 4-2-3-1 in the last kind of 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that. Once we'd gone back to 2-1 down, and then that really picked up momentum in that one, didn't it?
Yeah, so I believe we brought it was Bar and Vatter on, which it was a bit. I feel like they brought a big effect. It was two good subs, whereas today we didn't see good subs like you saw against Southampton with Bar and Vatter coming on off the bench, being very effective. You had Iran Kunda, of course, but didn't make as much impact as you would reasonably like.
So maybe do you think it might be the best way to look at is to start with it, in that 3-5-2 where we're nice and solid and we're not getting outmanned, and then if we do need to go for it, are Bar and Vatter better kind of impact subs, or would you want to say, because you mentioned about Vatter, there at the start, or would you want to see them included in some way, shape, or form from the start? Because it's a tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say it's tricky, but at the same time, depends which way you look at it and who's fit, to be honest. If you've got Iran Kunda starting, then obviously that's a good thing. But Bar's very effective off the bench. I'd say Bar's better off the bench than he is when he starts, which I think many people can vouch. But Vatter, I don't know what to think of Vatter because we haven't seen a terrible lot of him this year. And last year he didn't get, he got game time, obviously, but it's a new year. You don't know what to think. At the beginning of the year, he was getting out-muscled a little bit, but after seeing him today, I don't know where I'd put him in the lineup or if he'd be on the bench. We've got lots of competition for the attacking players, but I think I'd favour Iran Kunda as my first choice, and then Bar off the bench, and if we've got room on the other wing or something like that, depending on what formation we play, then probably play Vatter, because Bar's one of those that you want off the bench to make a massive impact. So, but if you've got Chapatadze fit and Loser fit, you've got a full 11 of players that are going to make a big difference, then I wouldn't think Vatter would get into the starting 11, but just depends really.
Yeah, very good, very good. Well, I've got to say, I don't think I've really given many of these out this week, this season, but fantastic stuff. What I really love is Ollie coming on and going, you gotta give it to Semedo. He's quite young. Ollie, how old are you again?
Me?
Yeah.
13.
Well done. Look at that. Ollie there, punching above his weight, telling Semedo, don't worry, you'll grow into it. Brilliant. Ollie, lovely to speak to you, sir. Don't forget, keep haranguing your parents till you get a blue suit. Yeah, Watford, I'm on commission for that one. I definitely think so. Lovely stuff, Ollie there. We're going to come across to Adam in just a second. I just wanted to put a couple of comments up, if that was all right, because Elliot's with us on YouTube. He said, we had two outstanding right wingers on the pitch and yet bring on KMB and play him there. Crazy decisions, he says. Goes on and says Doumbia was terrible in the first half and again played out of position. For me, he is only good at number 9. Elaine is clearly not as good as a left back. Why on earth was Boller on the bench? Yeah, we were talking about that earlier on. Whether or not sometimes somebody will pick up a niggle or a health thing or something, and we just don't know about it. But it felt like somebody was trying to make some kind of tactical innovation there. Whether or not he could kind of flip into a 3 or something along those lines, it didn't really quite work. It didn't give us the same sort of balance, and therefore whenever he was passing up that line to old Quadro Bar, the ball was always angling to go out rather than a left footer which will naturally kind of angle back in. And he says Elliot also mentions 3-5-2. We lack decent width and miss the likes of Bar and Vatter. And I agree with that, but it gives us a solidity. Do we start with that as a foundation and then switch to this? Because that's kind of what we did against Southampton, and it sort of worked. We also played the 3-5-2 against Swansea in that first half, and that worked. Yes, I know Swansea second half. Yeah, that doesn't quite go so well with my argument, but never mind. Righty ho. Let's get Adam in from the US. Adam, so how you doing?
No, I'm not bad. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. I'm all right. The old, we all know it's been a bit of a tumultuous week over there. Nice to have some distraction. Blue shirt,
Yes.
blue shirt, and Elton John coming in. I don't know if the TV was showing much of him or what have you.
Well, we got a few clips. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It felt like we didn't. Well, we certainly didn't live up to the occasion. The performance really wasn't there. But what were your thoughts on everything on everything this week, Watford wise, sir?
Well, let me just say, Ollie speaks very wise words.
He's good,
for
isn't he?
A young lad of 13. He speaks more sense than most of us grown-ups.
No, and tell me about it. I've already pitched to be his agent, but apparently his dad says I've got to buy him a shirt if I'm going to get that. So there we are. Never mind.
Let me make one correction. Cantwell got booked for that shirt. 100%. I saw the yellow card.
Well, there you go. Cantwell should have been booked simply for his face and his hair.
He's annoying, but he's good.
He is. He's one of those. He is genuinely. He is the Robbie Savage now. If anybody from Blackburn is listening, we don't like Cantwell because he's really actually quite good, and we resent that. So, and he had a great game.
So was that little Japanese striker. He was a handful.
Morishita.
I mean, I know he scored the goal, but
they have Ohashi and Morishita.
Okay, Morishita. I was thinking
he was. They're full of running. They're full of work rate, and I thought they played it small and simple. And you couldn't believe that they've lost every other game bar one today. Obviously it's today being their second this season. They'd only won one, and it was like, wow.
Kind of like us. Yeah.
Well, exactly. This is the problem. It's they've now gone past us in the table, and we do need to get going, obviously. So all of that, blue shirts, everything else.
It was screaming for a win. Everything. Elton's in the stadium. The blue kit. Most of the players are fit, other than the obvious two, Loser and Chak. But yeah, I was really expecting a win and expecting a performance, and then I looked at the lineup. I'm like, Matty Pollock back in, Elaine at left back. I'm like, why? He's clearly right-footed, and his ball's going forward. Everything's hit with his right foot, and it wasn't quite working for him. Starting, it's been said by other people, but yeah, Barr does not have that same impact when he starts a game, for the most part.
No, I agree, and I agree. I entirely, and I couldn't agree more with Elliot's point about. But then we lack width and all. I get it. I get it completely. But one of the things that Petzolano has said when we came off against Southampton, and everybody was as high as we are, sort of, I suppose, low. I mean, we've been yapping about it for an hour, so everybody's calmed down a bit, I imagine now. But he came off after Southampton and said, "No, we can't start a game in that way." I imagine that probably today he's going, and that's why we can't play that way. But today it would have been the chance to when he goes behind. Normally he's changed formation. He didn't do it today.
And he didn't do that.
It was an odd one. I wonder if.
And I was expecting Irankunda to start the second half. Actually, I know he came on fairly 10, 15 minutes in, but
yeah, because Doumbia was not having a good time of it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Doumbia a lot, but his touch wasn't quite right. He'd be taking too many touches, or his decision would make.
But he had a beautiful opportunity to hit the target, didn't he, when that ball got squared, and he just missed it completely.
Exactly. That was my complaint about how we were feeding Barr, is that if you give the ball to Barr to his feet, he's going to have a touch, and then he typically will do that little kind of drift inside bit, where he ends up putting it on his left. If you put the ball in behind the fullback, he is roasting them. And that was exactly where that ball came from. Somebody put that little diagonal ball in behind the fullback, and he got there, tugged it back, and Doumbia didn't get there was somebody sliding in, I think, from one or both sides, and you could see the lad got a bit phased, and it went high wide and not necessarily very handsome. But it was a shame. If we could play those in a little bit more, that would be really something. But yeah. Go on, you were
I
saying
was
about
going to say
Dumbia.
Dumbia just lacks pace. I didn't realize how slow he is.
Yeah, well, it's not his game particularly. I mean, interestingly, Wendover and I have discussed many times, and honestly, if you want a cure for insomnia, me and Wendover talking about Dumbia's ability to play off the wide, that'll work every time. I think he looks better coming in off the right because he'll do that in kind of run that I just mentioned that you'll see from Bar, where he will cut in, but because he's left-footed, we don't really see him get to use that left foot in anything other than quick snatches a lot. So I hope he'll grow into it, and either off the right as an inverted winger, or as a lot of people have said, no, his only place, again, Elliot said only good at number 9. I think he could do something off the side. In the whole, what's terrified people and what has made the 3-5-2 work, but would also make the 4-2-3-1 work if you had Iran Kunda in the centre, is his pace, exactly as you said, lack of pace in comparison from Dumbia, and his ability and his preparedness to run beyond Kieramgard. Because we didn't have that against Charlton, and after we changed to that 3-5-2, we were at least constantly a threat going in behind, and we just weren't that today, which was very, very sad. Because I mean, I looked around. I think I could be wrong. I mean, Elton John and his entourage either left with 10 minutes to go, or went into to enjoy the smorgasbord, and I'm sure delighted them in corporate. Because I think we could still be playing now, and I don't think we would have scored.
We weren't going to score today. It was just Sissoko had a bad game. I thought his touch, he was making errant passes. I don't know. A lot has been said about. Sometimes he's good. Like, I kind of like him in the side for his experience.
Yeah,
but today, nah, I
not
think
so much.
Not so much. The wrong subs. I don't, but I guess the subs bench wasn't that strong either. I mean, who do you bring on that was really going to make a difference other than Iran Kunda, which he did?
Yeah, very good point.
He didn't make a huge difference, possibly because he was tired. But they had a guy from Australia playing as well, didn't they? So, his teammate.
They had an Australian. My God, we should get more of those Australians. I think they're rather good. I like that. Adam,
and I think,
go on.
Yeah, go. No, I haven't got that much more to say.
No, okay, no problem at all. Well, let's hope that Loser comes back, makes.
I think he will make a big difference. I really do. As you said, the metronome.
Yeah, he can be the oil in the engine. I'm full of metaphors. I'm full of everything, as you know. But never mind. Let's have a good week, and I hope your adopted country has a quieter week next week than it has had this week for everybody. And let's hope the world stays that way. Let's get across. I think it's time for 5-word and long form reviews. Crikey, doesn't that sound official? Almost that makes it sound like we know what the hell we're talking about, which, as you all know, we do not. Peter Hopwood says, oh, I should actually say it. Peter Hopwood, presenter, storyteller. There you go, Peter. Give you the big one, why not? He says, can you feel the love tonight? No, I can't. Watford FC via split in Croatia. Like it. Gareth Kingswood Hornet says, can't let that define the weekend. And he's having Guinness, which is a very, very fine thing to do. By the way, that is, it's roughly speaking, it's almost prescribed medically. Have Guinness, it will help you get over everything. Proud Potso's backed another dud, said what WFC chef. More people looking at Petzolano. I've got to say, today's thing is on the players and it is on the technical department. In terms of that, we can talk about Loser being out of that and coming back, and that's a positive. But today it was not good or over the park. Dave Lavender says square pegs in round holes. Natasha Wright says that's why they call it the Blues. WFC chef back again said 2 subs used. Absolute clown. He says Mark of Watford and England says garbage of the highest order. Mark N74 says Elton will have the Blues. I think we're going to get a few of these, and quite right too. Casper Campion says dreadful performance. Change the tactics. Not a special edition performance. Says Carl Campion. Ryan Cripps says, I do feel for Sir Elton John in attendance, not to get a result. On a positive note, proud he was there and with us today. Very typical Watford. When expected for a win, it never occurs. Cripsies, loud and proud always. Good Good, and glad to hear it. Casper's back again. Casper Campion says, can't win without being in yellow. Well, we had that problem last season, didn't we? Was it? I think we might have picked up 1 point in the if we weren't wearing a yellow shirt. Same today. We are not very good, says John Parslow. Blue shirt returns now available, says Carl Campion. WSC Alan, hello Alan, says Sissoko should never be starting. No, absolutely. I mean, the second half especially, and as I said, in that first half, I have to fess up. I've had to go at him for vacating the midfield, and he was the only one anchoring it at all there today. On occasions, he was outmanned, which was fine. But in the second half, he was both outmanned and shite as well, with bells on his selection and his passing, and he just went through 5 minutes that every professional footballer will get at some point. Today was it, where you look at it and you go, my lord. I got to meet Brett, says Willie Eckers, like, hello Ken. Yeah, we had loads and loads of people from the DNSY universe, or whatever you want to call this thing, whatever it is, there at the fan zone and in the bunker earlier on, which was great. Justin, being Justin, says, special shirt devalued by defeat. I like that a lot, I have to say. Justin, one of your betters. Glad I got free tickets, says Dwayne Pipe. Got Dwayne Pipe. Gary, that's good. Gary, that's very, very good. That's one of your better ones. I actually read that straight. Dwayne Pipe. Oh, look at that. One of them. Sorry, Gal, it's got to go. Holy Moses, I have been deceived. Now the wind has changed direction and I'll have to leave. Won't you please excuse my frankness, but it's not my cup of tea. Holy Moses, I have been deceived. Border song by Elton John, care of Mr. Peter Ryan. Thank you very much indeed. Uncle Ron, he said, he's got to go tonight. with the corner flag there. Dickie Sutton basically is using an economy of words. He's simply saying bollocks. Hampshire Hornet says K9 is not the answer. Ooh, I thought he earned some bits, but again, we had the same thing with Charlton. Nobody was linking to him. Nobody was linking to him effectively after, well, especially when Dumbia kind of came off, and he wasn't kind of linking to him effectively before he went off anyway. What the hell was that, says Mark Carpenter, which is pretty right. This manager's a clown, says Up the Watty. Pete Ryan's back again. He said that was painful. Not my words. Tommy Smith to Luther Blissett as they left the upper GT post-match. He was spot on. Blimey, there we go. Dwayne Pipes back again. He just says crap. Well, that's what goes down drain pipes occasionally. Harry, HJ Clark 95 says Sissoko ghosted 96 minutes. Ben, hello Ben, says wearing blue, played like poo. That might be the reason. I wonder if it would be more mellow in yellow. Pozzo won't like one win, says Harry. No, we mentioned about this. Simon Parkins says, hi. Simon says, I guess that's why they call it the Blues. But he's taken the extra effort, everybody. I'm talking to you, Natalie. He's put in little musical kind of staves and notes and things. Very nice. Chris Taff, hi, Chris. First 5 minutes of glory. Next part was quite painful. Andy Payton says, still don't know our formation. Derek Armson, hey, Derek, says, total waste of life force. I get the feeling Derek is ebbing after that particular game. Gary Short says he'll be gone by Christmas. Christmas? Crikey. New that long service award. Gino Pozzo, appoint useless Uruguayan, says taste the biscuit 979. Tony May says, when's the next international break? Richard, you see, I love the fact that Watford have their own language. When's the next international break? We all know what he means. Richard WFC Pozzo out says, why I'm still Pozzo out. Well, this is kind of why I said, this is why I kind of said, do we look at the squad and think, okay, what else is it missing? Of course, there's going to be areas for improvement. I think most people looked at the window and went, we've done a lot of good business in terms of doing things and changing and getting bodies out. Do we need to? Is this one on him? Therefore, I don't know. But it doesn't mean that your mind should be changed anyway, because the club is more than just what's the squad position as well. It's how you feel about things as well. Colin Ogier says, really bad team setup. Blackburn wanted it more. I think they did. Moose and Edo must go, says Jonathan Howe, just simply confirming my point that, yes, some Deadwood has gone, others must follow. Pony, says Vince Smith. Dunny says, flatter than a titch's wit. Oh, you nearly worked me there. Will Gasper just says sad. And Thomas says Sissoko, fuck off, too slow. I like that. I can't deny it. I thought he was, as I said, I thought he had a really, really troubling 5 minutes where it looked like he was a competition winner, and we have to acknowledge that Musa Sissoko has got some pedigree there. He was just it really wasn't there. Can he still play a part? Absolutely. Can he start? Oh, blimey. Yes, if you're going to take him off after 20 minutes. No, for me, we need Loser in there and hope that he is the oil in the engine, something that we need. Long forms. Let's get to those. Mark of Watford and England says clueless, passionless performance. Petzolano's days already look numbered. If he can't get a tune out of this side against Blackburn at home, I cannot tell you how low Blackburn were going into this. They really were. Gary Dwayne Pipe says, has Blue Cheese Brett ever fired on all cylinders? Can you imagine if Brett has 4 cylinders and he starts firing on all of them? I mean, he's bad enough on 1 and 2 misfiring. Louis Teixeira says the team in yellowish won at the Vic. Gary's back again. He says Josh Sargent has the most punchable face in the championship. I apologise. I did say it was Flouncy Cantwell. You are quite right. It is not. It is definitely the big barista playing in East Anglia. He also adds, sack Justin from the Prediction League and get the gentleman from Blackburn podcast to predict our scores. Yeah, but he always comes in. What happens? Ian, who is just a lovely man, and he's great fun, and he comes in and he kind of, he's got the level of patience that basically anybody who listens to us for long periods of time, he keeps coming back. That'll do for us. But he keeps coming in and going, yeah, I think we'll win it 1-0. Having said that they would be a shower, and then what happens? They do it. Petrie just couldn't dish it out. Oh, look at this. Hampshire Hornet, very strong. 1 win in 6 for Paolo, says John Parslow. Sissoko, a disgrace. Now, I'm going to come back to Watford Limericks. I said I was going to do it last week, and I completely forgot because I'm a dickhead, but never mind. Ellie says, wonder what Elton thought of that. 1-0 defeat. Isn't that bad at home, to be fair? Mum said it's a respectable loss. Is there such thing as a respectable loss? I imagine somewhere near Florida, Ron has just exploded at that whole prospect. Never mind. Snowboy from, everybody, Romania updates. Love this. You can tell, the worst thing about this going on YouTube is you can see how stupidly excited I get about these things. He says, a grim result against a poor Blackburn side who made us look very dull and clueless. I think absolutely. Will PP survive? He's asking. ASA Targu Mores lost against the newly reformed Steaua Bucharest 2-1 today. Now 3rd in the Romanian League 2. Brilliant. I love it. I absolutely love it. There you go. Let's get to Watford Limericks because this is always good. Just preparing, the larynx to try to make sure my full delivery is... Oh, what shit am I talking? Here we go. Elton was all over the news and we had no clue who Paolo could choose. Then it came to the day and we threw it away. I guess that's why they call it the Blues. Oh, I'll be honest with you. The performance was poor. It didn't really kind of offer what was there, which on the written word was frankly second to none. Second to absolutely none. Very good indeed. Right, well, guys, tomorrow the women's team are away at Cheltenham, which is being played in Bishop's Cleeve. Everybody, it's lovely following the women's team because you end up in all sorts of kind of villages and stuff. I'm sure most people, when they're coming down to Watford, and go, "Where's Kings Langley precisely?" That sounds nice. They are unbeaten so far this season. They have been putting in some real good performances. And it's an absolute joy to see them. I'm going to try and get up there if I possibly can, but I've got some logistical and family issues to try to what's the word I'm looking for? Abandon in order to get down there and see them. But we will see. But wishing them absolutely all the best. But if you can possibly get down, that's a great thing to do. The family zone was an absolute triumph. The bunker is still there, and it still requires our support as with all of these things. And I appreciate it's $3.50 a pint at the fan zone, but for the bunker to thrive and survive. And if you've not been down there this season, do get down there because they've opened up the front. It's really airy. It's excellent. Same thing, obviously, for the Red Lion as well. But that normally has no problem with footfall. Everything being behind the stadium sometimes can get a bit lost. So don't forget, if you can, get down the bunker and see Roy and all of the guys from the 1881 who put everything in to try to get there. Before I go, I think he's come back. Hold on, let me see if I can add him in. Let me see if we can have one last call before all of this. You'll all go, who is it, Pete? Who is it, Pete? I'm going to ask you, are you there? Are you there, Gino? It's not Gino, really. Caden, are you there? Can you hear me?
Good evening, Pete. How
Look
are you?
at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this bonus call, everybody, from Caden. Now, before Caden starts, obviously we're going to talk about today. And today was, wasn't everything we wanted to be. But I have to say, and I have to say this because we were talking beforehand, transfer deadline day, the Hornet Talk podcast, which was you, George, and Ted. No, let's give this the full. It was Caden, George, and Ted, and your crew were outside the Hornet, the sort of the Hornet shop, or away from the Vicarage Road, doing a basically, I think the first, and I'm here to be corrected, obviously, the first outside broadcast on deadline day to do it. Gentlemen, well done. I thought it was a tremendous effort that you did. You put in technical difficulties, because what you're trying to do is shoot for the moon, and you know, if you try, you might hit the stars. Who knows? So well done on that. Well done on that indeed. Enough of that that silly nonsense. What do you think of today and everything?
Well, look, first of all, if I may, it wasn't just
you had a whole team.
Mainly the team that we had. They were just excellent on the day. Yes, we had technical difficulties, and we extensively apologise. But it was logistically really difficult. But I hope that we actually gave you a really good end to the transfer window. I know our producer Scott worked so hard to get all of the production together and make sure everything was working. So if you want to praise anyone, praise him, because he was absolutely phenomenal.
I'll be honest with you, we were there all the way, but we were all slightly disappointed when you were very magnanimous and gave the credit away. If you did just turn around, but if you want to praise anyone, it's Caden. Make checks available. Excellent, good stuff. Right, come on then. Well done, mate. No, really, it was something. I'm all in favour of coming out of comfort zones, doing things that might not work. But let's be honest. Caden said to me, any thoughts, any advice? And I said, yeah, technical problems will occur. Just stay calm when you get around them. And you did, because you had technical problems. We've taken about 4 weeks to try to work out that this lead, everybody on YouTube, this lead needed replacing. That's why you can now hear me. Not necessarily an improvement, but what the heck, never mind. Caden, what did you think? Blue shirts, funny old week, Elton John, and then the team not turning up. Discuss.
Well, the streak of not winning in, an away or alternative script continues. Today was shocking, wasn't it?
It wasn't good.
And I don't want to concern people, but looking back at some of the footage, there was a picture shown of Gino, and Gino was twiddling his fingers, pushing them back and forth as if he was thinking. We all know what he's thinking. Yeah, pressure is on. The pressure is on.
Shocking revelation that Gino Pozzo would be thinking. I like that. I like that a lot.
All I will say is prepare yourselves for a corner flag.
Oh dear! Yeah, there's you now. There's Ron saying this. There's you. There's Ron saying it in pictorial, and then you calling it out. Well, we'll see. Was it that bad? Has it been that bad? Can we really, or should we give the man an opportunity to have Loser, who's surely the midfield general in that? I mean, we all like Cipriano a little bit, but today the midfield was sort of overrun, but it was overrun tactically from the shape of things. And there are some people who will say the shape doesn't matter. I respectfully disagree. If you've got 3 bodies in there versus 2, and especially if one of those is Musa Sissoko and the other is Cipriano, who's moved to left centre back for some reason on occasions when the ball is lost, it is difficult tactically. But surely we need to give him some time with Loser, and then hopefully Chak Fatadza as well. I mean, he's got the squad, he's got the ammo. Do we not need to give him a run with all of it fit?
I agree. I don't think he should be sacked. I said before he should have been sacked, but I decided after Swansea, I said, nah. We're too early. Give him time. I said I'd give him till Christmas, but I have a bad feeling that from the way Gino was looking at things, he's going to pull the plug, and we're going to be on the lookout for another one.
Well, there you
and
go.
who that will be is, a story. But yeah, we need to give Paolo time, because how can you expect to get a really good result in a game of football when you've got Musa Sissoko in the midfield and you've got Cipriano who's trying to fill up two roles in the midfield because Sissoko's such a lazy bastard, he don't want to do anything. He's so busy just stood there and doing a light little jog, whereas Cipriano's dashing all over the place trying to fill in where Sissoko fucked up. Oh, it was awful from him.
There you go.
I thought when Edo Kayembe came on, I thought he was okay for once. I didn't think he was too bad at all.
Well, it was more. It was then more of a 4-3-3. I mean, obviously this is approximation really, because we lost a lot of shape. I thought my son, who wasn't there today, said, "So what's happening? What shape are we playing?" And I was like, "The shape's gone ragged." But sometimes that's not necessarily the issue. It was a question of we needed bodies in the middle, and he did it, but he did it a little bit late, so to speak.
Yeah, it's things just didn't work out. I think my man of the match for today.
We haven't thought about man of the match. Caden, you get to give the Do Not Scratch Your Eyes man of the match, like you weren't going to do it already. Go on.
I'm going to give it to Jeremy Petrus today. I thought he was brilliant. He looked really, really good. A fantastic debut.
Caden has been known to go overboard on new signings. I give you Pierre Duomo, of course, which means the question, with the rumours that Pierre Duomo was being kind of potentially leaving, he hasn't. He has stayed, for anybody's listening. But how pissed would you have been had he gone? Because you are number one in the Pierre Duomo fan club.
Well, I don't know if you've seen it. I saw Ryan's tweet as soon as it came out, and I was like, if he goes, I will be very disappointed, because we would have taken 500 to 600 grand for him, which is ridiculous. We need it. If we were to sell Duomo, we would need a massive offer. And I don't mean tens and 20 millions. I mean, for a player like Duomo, considering his injury record, you're looking at about 5.5 million. Take it. Otherwise, don't. Anything below 5.5 is an undervalue for Pierre Duomo. Every game he's played, he's been my man on the match. It's just been a shame that he's been injured so much. But I'm really looking forward to seeing him play a lot.
Let's be honest here. Let's be honest here. Caden sounds like he's being loyal, but I think we all suspect that had he gone, his eyes would have turned to our new Petrus, as you said earlier on, and gone, yep, he's the new one that I'm having. I reckon you'd have gone for him straight away. You'd have liked him very much straight away. Good stuff. Are you on Monday?
Yes, we'll be live on Monday. First space back after the international break, so it shall be interesting.
Well, there's a lot to talk about. So there you go. That will be on Spaces. So if you're listening to this on Spaces, you can listen to that on Spaces if you wish, obviously. The Hornet Talk podcast. And I have to say, absolute fair play. Fair bloody play for going out and doing something, because the guys aren't. I'm sorry, Caden. He's going to hate me for this one. They're not the oldest, and yet they're out there and they're doing it. Fair bloody play, fair dinkum, as Irin Kunda wouldn't say. Never mind. Right, okay, guys. I think it's time for you all to get on with your Saturday evenings and get the heck out of here. It's disappointing, but Elton was there. That's why they call it the Blues.